about Scandal, kind of like a rap hip-hop. I think it's our first rap film that we ever showed in the festival, so it's kind of a cool little vibe going on. Some kind of like freaky moments going on with the squash of the human being in the hand.
It was really interesting seeing the Statue of Liberty turn into a demon with a forked tongue. What was, and throughout the second section, what became interesting for me was the use of, you know what, I have to think about this a while.
That's what that film is. You just nailed what the first film is. It's like, you gotta think about it for a second because it's got a Western vibe to it, like a Western kind of culture to it with the rap and the hip hop. It's got some really interesting kind of like freaky visuals that are occurring. But at the same time, there's definitely an American or Western world shot taken, I guess. You brought up the comment with the Statue of Liberty, kind of like there's something really interesting happening.
I guess the words meant a lot to me when the line that was repeated over and over again is something like, "If you love me, let me go," or something like, "If you love me, you will let me go," something like that. And let me free. Let me free, yes. Yeah. And that really deepened the theme of the film for me of ownership, of that how man's squashing a woman in his hand, thinking that if I love you, I own you, and the woman begging for the opposite.
Yeah, kind of a timely film in a lot of ways, right? And it's also the language too, because it goes so fast. It's like there's a lot of words being spit out with us, and plus the animation. It's just like there's a lot happening in 4 minutes. It's one of those films that we should turn off the lights and watch again in a sense, because I'm sure you got lots to talk about.
Yeah, it shared a lot of the same dystopian tropes as the first animated piece, with the elongated people marching to their doom, with the image of the kid with the balloon at the end. So I really like the dystopian elements of it, but what came up with this and other films in this series was the notion of the observing gaze, whether it be cultural, whether it be male, but taking images from outside of your culture and incorporating it into your vision for whatever reason, for whatever means. It became interesting seeing how often that happened and figuring out what was the use of that imagery, right? The black woman in one of the last films, the male gaze on the female as a piece of sculpture, that kind of thing.
I was just struck by how the blood was used. There was a lot of imagery of red blood, seemed to be pouring out of people's faces, from their eyes, from the body that was being squashed. So that was kind of disturbing to me, and I couldn't rationalize why that red vividness was there.
Everything, the living sin crown, eminence, my queen, incentive vibes to swim, go fishing, or go out on a limb, on a whim.
Not just the blood, I mean the most horrendous image was the squeezing of the hand and crushing the woman. I said, oh wow. But the backgrounds, all the walls covered with graffiti, everything was, and a matter of fact, the whole series, the backgrounds were all kind of grim and ruined society.